3 weeks of regular season hockey left. Boys, no joke, enough of the clowning around. It is time to get dialed. And this week was pure chaos. We had players getting their cars hit and run, coaches losing their jobs, fans losing their minds, and players losing their teeth.
With the shovel may have stolen the evidence already.
We saw goalies shaking the tree to get the coconuts, flashing the leather, and all around making some phenomenal saves. But on the contrary, this week was full of just downright filthy, make you throw up nasty goals. We also saw some huge hits, plenty of the nasty to go around, of course, and as always, some great sound bites.
Playing a 2-on-1 like shit, but...
Yeah, we might have to have a chat with him about that.
Squashes him like a bug.
I speak Brett, no problem, goalie was go.
Don't think I will ever get that in NHL 2025 on the Xbox.
Beeswax candles is what I heard is great for you. So now we're all talking about beeswax candles.
There's plenty to cover, and so let's start with the notables. The big daddy this week was Sid the gray-haired kid, officially breaking a Gretzky record. It came against Buffalo, who slapped the Penguins around so hard PETA's still investigating, but nonetheless, Crosby did secure what is his 20th consecutive point-per-game season on this goal, his 80th point, as he passed the record Gretzky set at 19 seasons to become the first player in NHL history with 20 consecutive point-per-game seasons. Moving on, Draisaitl, back from injury, was back in a big way, scored his 50th to become the second active player with 4 50-goal seasons, and with his OT winner that same game, that was his 6th of the season, and that is the most overtime goals on a season in NHL history. Speaking of goals, Ovi knows a thing or 890 about him. He first got goal number 889 in Winnipeg, fueled at 39 by Subway and Flamin' Hot Cheetos, before scoring number 890 against the Sabres last night. A nasty little redirect to beat Reimer before a clapper, and could it be just 4 goals away now? No, that one was redirected by Dubois as we remain at 5 away, but still.
It's an insane number. I don't think I will ever get that in NHL 2025 on the Xbox.
And lastly, this one wasn't pretty. After a 7-2 loss against the Leafs, which was their second game in a row, letting in 7 goals, Torts had this to say.
I'm not really interested in learning how to coach this type of season where we're at right now.
And so, the Philadelphia Flyers, with just 9 games remaining on the season, fired Torts. And while that seemed to have freed Michkov, immediately getting out there and putting together consecutive 2-goal games against Montreal and Buffalo, for me, I'm going to miss you, Torts.
I don't know cut from a hole in a wall.
Really, it's a young, dumb league.
One thing we do have is balls.
It pisses me off that you guys throw that around.
You're not going to get shit out of me in a 30-minute practice. So let's get going. Did I go at you not answering any of your questions? Well, it's a dumb league. I'm not answering your questions.
What a run. But with that, we'll move on to the nasty of the week, and as you can imagine, it was a spicy one. But before we do, I'd like to share a word from today's sponsor, SeatGeek. The regular season is coming to an end real quick, so if you're like me and your team isn't making the playoffs, rip to my Penguins, or you're lucky enough to watch your team ramp it up heading into the first round, now is the perfect time to get out and catch a game. If you're looking to catch the best deal, let me introduce you to SeatGeek. From hockey to concerts, they have over 70,000 events listed, so if you're going, they've got it. And on top of showing you whether you're getting a good deal or not, green meaning you're good to snatch them up, and red meaning you may want to keep looking, another feature I love is that they also show you what view you're getting with a picture of the view from your section. So, you know I came through for you guys. You can use my code NEXTMANUP10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code NEXTMANUP10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek. Alright, so I'll start with the big boys in Detroit. After Stützle tripped up Edvinsson, they exchanged pleasantries before, whoop, how you doing? Brady sliding in to defend him. You want it? You want it? He did, and we got ourselves a heavyweight throwdown between Tkachuk and Edvinsson, and then it just doesn't get much better than the the Battle of Alberta. Backlund snowing Pickard a bit here. The teams came together a bit, but just as it looked over, Perry headed to the box. Psych, keep the stick, ref. He went after Anderson. Backlund says nah, as they went tumbling down. And this time Perry played nice going to the box. But speaking of the box, this right here is hockey. We saw Brandon Carlo in his first fight as a Leaf dropping him against Malott in LA. A great scrap. Malott fired up about it as Carlo was leaking. And so Malott looking over, you good, bud? Oh yeah, I am. I mean, seriously, how can you not love this game? But in saying that, it's not always so amicable. Mangiapane and Miller were jawing at each other after giving us some great theatrics, which came after Miller laid a hit from behind that Mangiapane was not a fan of. As in Tampa, we had Chernak laying down Keller at the blue line, a nice hit. Then Holloway in St. Louis.
Boom! How about that? Squashes him like a bug.
And even the linesmen were getting physical. Stands up to Krebs in the zone. Well played, Stripes. In Colorado, Bolduc on Lindgren, and McKinnon said it best. He f***ing punched him. Right here. For some college hockey, this was an overtime, by the way, but for the win, Tristan Frazier went for the Michigan and got hammered. Nick Faisal laying the boom, showing you how to shut that down. Back to Tampa, this time against the Penguins. It was Grizzly getting squashed like a bug, and that had to hurt. But in the same game, after Kucherov went teeth first into Ned's mask, he was feeling it, a little banged up, and oh, there's something missing. Well, he went back looking to see if he could find it, and I'll tell you where I saw it last, Cooch. Play it. Oh, you see it? That right there is the missing chiclet.
Did you see a little sort of white thing here? No, buddy, I'm just shoveling.
Going across the country to Anaheim, we saw a nasty cross-check from Callahan, which landed him a stiff $2,000 fine. I mean, all he did was nearly kill a man, so I guess that makes sense. Meanwhile, last night, this was the scene at the end of the Montreal-Florida game after Mikkola, with maybe 2 seconds remaining, fired a dart to the other end as he nearly took the head off of Savard, and obviously not cool as he got a fine. But wait, 5,000? This one got 2K, and this one gets 5, huh? Anyway, speaking of flying pucks, though, in Minnesota, Rantanen had one clock him up high. This puck deflected up into his face, which saw him briefly become the bubble boy, but it also seemed to infect him with an injury bug of sorts as he passed it along to Skinner, first in Edmonton, the very next game, catching him on the fly here as Skinner will miss some time. Meanwhile, the game right after that, it was Connor Zary, and this looked real bad at first. Rantanen, this time losing an edge, went into Zary's knee, but thankfully, as bad as it looked, he is week to week, and it doesn't appear to be as bad as I thought. But how about we cool things down a bit here, huh? You remember last week when Kovacevic got chewed up by Keith?
Kovacevic just needs to play better. That would help.
Boom. Roasted.
Well, wouldn't you know it, the next game he went out there and saved a goal against the Canucks, and Keith changed his tune a bit.
Kovacevic saved the day. He made that save.
He's the best.
Then, after getting throttled in a 6-1 loss against the Rangers, Celebrini's night only got worse when he found his car had been hit by the Rangers bus. Gee, I wonder who could have been driving said bus. Next, this was pretty cool. Aatu Ratu is flipping his stick to take face-offs. He gets real low and then flips it back. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of neat. Also kind of neat if you're Jacob Chychrun, inking an 8-year, $72 million deal as he got paid this week, but then in practice, he got pranked. Someone sticking a $100 bill to him. But just quickly, we all know Chychrun's an interesting dude. He shared that he eats beef heart and liver and whatnot. Recently sold his Tesla just because he felt weird sitting on a battery. But the new thing?
It's a new thing every day. I heard yesterday that he's no light bulbs. He's doing candle lit in his house now. For something. Yeah, that's what his thing was yesterday. So he was on beeswax candles, is what I heard is great for you. So now we're all talking about beeswax candles. There's lights everywhere. I'm like, what are you talking about? No light bulbs.
Then after seeing Nikita Kucherov traded from the Leafs at the deadline, we got his reaction this week.
I speak Brett, no problem. Goalie was go. It's business.
Nothing to see here, just Makar absolutely shaking Joseph out of his skates. But in Buffalo now, after the puck was played with a high stick, neither team wanted anything to do with it. And I don't know, I just thought that was kind of funny. Rasmus Sandin here had nothing but praise for the ref after getting called for boarding. Next up, trigger warning to Bruins fans.
Right?
Brad Marchand officially suited up for his first game as a Panther, and Barkey was absolutely cheesing next to the Rat, and of course he would. Marchand set up Sam Bennett for the OT winner. You can't make it up, as he picked up his first Rat for the souvenir, and I don't know, it does still feel a little odd to me. In Calgary, Rasmus Anderson scoring somehow found the only Utah fan in the building for the patented stare down, as the guy even got a t-shirt out of it. Next, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this. What is goalie interference? In a tight wildcard race, the Islanders, appearing to score with 10 seconds remaining, had it immediately called off. He pushed me. I was a fucking foot away. Now, I hate to see these. Right call or not, I don't think a goal like this shouldn't count, but just as they went from thinking they won it, they went to losing it in the shootout. The double whammy.
If Toronto is afraid to overturn calls made by their referee, we don't need Toronto.
And from there, I'll round it out with some wholesome content. Ryan McDonough, in his 1,000 game celebration, had his 5-year-old son Murphy out there with him, which was pretty cute. And lastly, Ovi facing off against Fleury for what is likely the final time. The guy he has scored more goals against than any other goalie throughout his career made sure at the end of this one, despite the Capitals players being well on their way down the tunnel, to tell him that get back out. He lined up his troops to give the Flower a proper send-off. Such a classy gesture. 20-year rivals, as, man, am I gonna miss Fleury. But with it, how about we get to the goalies, and how freaking cool is this shot? But I'll start with Demko, and I've seen this. Many don't actually know this, but if you shake a goalie just right, pucks actually fall from their nuts, so the more you know. But man, has he been great since his return. This one, odd man rush, stop and Cotter, I mean, full stretch of the groin, no pucks left in there, I'll tell you.
You know, classic me playing a 2-on-1 like shit, but
against the Islanders, another odd man rush and another crazy save. First shot of the game, and he's banana splitting. In Buffalo, Forsberg was flashing the leather. This one absolutely labeled for the corner. And speaking of flashing leather, in the dying seconds of the third, it was Cam Talbot absolutely robbing Middlestat of the game-tying goal. A little extra flair there, but a great stop. And then here, just your weekly dose of Igor being a menace. Then we saw Elvis in the OT of that Islanders Jackets game, absolutely down and out, somehow able to get across and rob Pollock of the winner. Over in Edmonton, it was Otter with a desperation stop, falling as he gets just enough. But speaking of Dallas, check this out. Thomas Harley knocking it out of mid-air, backs up his backup to Smith, about as close as it gets. In San Jose, it's, oh no, but he's already in his net, guys. I don't know what to say. Wall banked it off Eklund and into his own net. Just a brutal bounce. In Columbus this time, it was Elvis shutting it down in the shootout, as wow, they would take it. Wait, 7-6. What? Imagine letting in 6 and still having the Stones to do this. I freaking love this guy. But we can't talk about the goalies without talking Connor freaking Hellebuck. Recorded his career high 7th shutout against the Devils, but look at this. With 43 wins on the season and counting, he's just the third netminder in 25 years to do it twice. Another amazing season from him, and then we'll end it here. Peep the stick twirl on this. Jonathan Lackermacki against Markstrom would get it done, and that is an angry Jacob Markstrom, but Demko asked about this stick twirl.
Did he stick twirl? Yeah, we might have to have a chat with him about that,
But this same shootout also produced a beauty of a goal from Kent Johnson. He gets Lankinen biting right as he went backhand left, ready stuff. And so with it, let's get to the goals of the week. And man, did we have some pretty ones. Sticking with the shootout first, this is just not even fair. Will Smith's hypnotizing wand puts Wall to sleep, digging for days. dirty, just to be followed by Celebrini, who's got the moves like Jagger for the game winner. What a 1-2 punch the Sharks have, cooking with oil over there. In LA, it was Kuzmenko, holds up, finds Kopitar for the touch pass, and Kempe for the goal. What a play. Kuzmenko, speaking of the devil, sends Celebrini into another time zone as he has to watch this filth behind him. Headed to Winnipeg now, Cole Perfetti getting around Forbert. What a move, in on Demko and finished for a filthy goal. Evangelista in Carolina found himself alone and so smooth with it, gets Kochekov frozen, and do you want to build a snowman? Nasty. Opening day of baseball was this week, and Braden Point took note. Backhand batting home his 300th. Just a ridiculous goal. Just a ridiculous goal. Yeah, so was this. Austin Watson redirecting one from the top of the circle up and over Vamilka. I mean, come on. Then it was Max Domi around Gudas, and a beauty. Undresses Gudas to the backhand. Another pretty one. But we also had some pretty setups too. Cousins to Batherson. One touch for Kachuk to finish it off. Backdoor. But answering back in the same game, Peterka for Quinn, as Peterka spinning, somehow able to perfectly find Jack Quinn for what was another beauty. And then getting back to that UConn Penn State game, it was Serrato finding DeMarsico to win it all. A pretty behind the back pass from Serrato, and the finish as Penn State would punch their ticket into the Frozen Four for the first time in program history. BU will be there as well, in part thanks to this beauty. Cole Hudson from a ridiculous angle. What a goal. And then finally, to finish it off, Nikolai Ehlers against Washington would take it in overtime, sniping it past Thompson in what was the battle of the two best teams in the league. And are you not entertained? But that is gonna about do it for this week. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one.